Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the new episode of today's Workflows Flywheeler. In this episode, we're going to focus about a particular topic, which is really important. Why? Because this is why the company become more successful and more profitable in the way too.
Also, pick what you are saying to move to the next question. Is about the product, how the employees understands about the product, how we create a relationship in between the employees and the product itself, and this also somehow a complementary of what we are saying. Because as I mentioned before, employees most of the time they really do not understand the value proposition, they don't understand the company, but it's also very common that they even don't know the products. And this is much more valid, of course, if we are talking about common products, maybe they understand, but if we are talking about a specific business with some very unique products, most of the time they are not aware about what it is there. I'll give you an example. As I mentioned to you, I had been working all my life in medtech. I used to have a lot of employees in the office that normally they process orders for a magnetic resonance or of computer tomography or a laboratory, and they never seen in their life one systems like that, which means that sometimes they are taking care about millions of dollars of business of a big equipment, and they really don't understand how it is the equipment, which means that if we promote a visit to a customer site to explain, even for the regular employee, in order that they can understand, they can feel, they can see the product, it's really, really relevant, because the next time that they will do something, they will much better understand what we are talking about. This is valid for this example, but it's for any example, as you may say. Even if we are talking about a company that produce, let's say, nuts or screws or even small things, it's important that the employees really understand what they are selling. They see it, they feel it. And if this is not promoted, and most of the time is not, really there is a completely disconnection in between what they need to do in the regular daily tasks and what the company is doing. Yeah. So that's why I recommend that companies really should promote this, should promote in the onboard processing. As part of the onboard should be really to visit, to explain, to show what is not only the purpose of the company, but also what are the products about, okay? And this should be something that should be not only on the board, but should regularly be updated and promoted, that the employees really go to visit customers to understand the business and the products. This also, and just to finish, can be complemented with the external activities. We do many times the team building activities, but most of the time, and you know that what I'm saying is not the normality, the team building is completely disconnected from the activity of the company, which is wrong. Because why don't we create a team building activity that is connected with the business of the company? It's much more interesting. Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Pedro, for sharing. I think you covered a lot of the bullets. Of the next question, which I'm going to ask, is about how we can build a great connections. What will be the top three tips you would like to give it away for the audience so they can build a great connections between the employees and their product? I know that most of it were covered, but do you want to share any other points for this, particularly for this answer?
I think that basically is to put some order in terms of introduction of the employees to the product portfolio. And this, the tip is really, as I mentioned before, so it should be part of onboard process and regularly should be promoted and updated with presentations to explain to the whole team what they are doing, what are the new products. For instance, you introduce a new product. You never communicate to the employees in general that you are introducing a new product. Maybe you are entering a completely different market, a completely different thing. It's relevant that, first of all, they understand what you are doing. Secondly, that they know it. And third, they will feel much more empowered if they know it. Which means that if we want to have product awareness, brand awareness. We need to promote it formally. And the only way to do it is really when we have these introduction moments, or once a while, we need really to promote, to invite the people to do a call 1 hour, explain this is what we are doing, this is the new one, have a look and feel it.
Thank you, Pedro. So from my side, I will be sharing few lines about this one. I think the number one I will be sharing is about a successful story, a great strategy that Zappo implemented. You probably know the Zappo. He was working for a great company, and then he went out and opened Zappo, and then he sold it out after 10 years later to Amazon with almost $1 billion valuation. So Zappo is a company where that small businesses goes to really massive one. And one of the things they have done is about letting every new employees to work in a help desk for a certain hour every month. And with that way, they basically foster a culture that everybody needs to be customer oriented and customer service oriented and need to understand the customer. So it can be any position, even the senior managers, they have to work on help desk for a couple of hours or even shorter based on how busy they are. But there's a rule in the company based on the role that they have to work on the help desk and have to take the calls. Number two is about encourage ownership and the feedback. So for this one, I will say an ideal example is a Netflix. So the Netflix way is about, you probably know the books, it's talk about no rules, rules. That's a Netflix culture. So people who join Netflix, they are required to give feedback. Every time they're exposed to any other colleagues, any work, they have to give feedbacks, positive feedback and improvement feedback on that one too. So with that aspect, they make people come to a position that they hold each other really accountable and they really own the piece about themselves too. And that really helped them to come to a culture right now where they are in a unlimited holiday mood. So the line managers doesn't need to approve the leave anymore for the managers. People can have unlimited holidays, just get the thing done. They also no need any budget approval as well too. And each of the departments has their own budgets for their activity and they can just spend as long they are on track as well too. So this matter is also Nestle is cultivating as well too, since almost last 20-30 years about come to that no rules, spark your way. They also run another campaign. They don't tell employees to wear any specific dress. They can wear whatever they want. And they have not gone to unlimited holiday yet, but they are in a very candor environment to give feedbacks as well too. So that's the number two, is to encourage ownership and feedback. And number three is about foster cross-functional collaboration as well. So the cross-functional collaboration means is about what the company D is about. They help people to rotate. So all those great companies like Nestle, Unilever, Zappo, they have created management training program where they're recruiting the top talents and putting them around 4 to 5 different roles in the first 2 years period of time and let them know about the overall business and then to see what they're really good at it and replace them over there too. So yeah, they have learned different things. They have identified their strength, but also one of the side effects they get is about they get a cross-functional collaboration. Now from that generation, maybe they have recruited 20, 30 people, they had all of them are well connected, those 20 people in the same batch, and then also get a lot of exposure to all the other departments too, because as soon they're moving out to the next role, they need a lot more relationship to leverage with and connection with the company, and they found a lot more belongings in the company and don't know who to ask and who to talk to get a lot of cross-functional project done, because end of the day, almost all the work will be cross-functional as well too. So these are the three takeaways from my side. Pedro, do you want to add anything?
Yes, it's very interesting, the example. Unfortunately, I still believe that the reality is a little bit far away from that because, first of all, you don't have the majority of the organizations with this level of maturity. This is the first thing, because this is not only about employees, it's about the maturity of the organization, the culture of the organization. Second thing, of course, it creates a great level of accountability, which is fantastic, but this implies that you are very criterious on this hiring process, because to have this working, and I believe it's the ideal, full agrees is the perfect world. You need to have the level of employees should be to that level. which means that they should be accountable, responsible, and senior enough to understand this methodology, to understand this culture, which means that I foresee that this is possible in certain organizations. I see still a path to go for expanding these benchmark practices to the overall market. To be very, very frank and honest with you, it's the ideal, and we should pursue the ideal, definitely. But you know that the companies also depends on the employees, and the employees is not an ideal entity. We have good and we have bad and we have average, which means that we need to take this in consideration. Yeah, but it definitely is a great, let's say it's a great vision. I think that partially can be implemented in some mature big companies, but it's not an easy thing, to be honest. Yeah.
Right. It needs a really carefully crafted, strategized, and then continuous improvement. So, like you said, I absolutely agree with you that a lot of companies will not be just able to implement, because we just cannot say this, unlimited holiday from tomorrow. It will not. They don't have the right people. They don't have the right culture. They don't have the right leaders. They have to work on it for years to come to that level, because Nestle did it. Almost 10 years, they've been working with that one to come to that positions to have such kind of culture. Nestle, 100 years company, they were not like this, but last 10 years, they realized and they've been working on it and then come to that level. So this is a good example for other people to focus on this one, because if we don't focus, if we don't strategize, if we don't execute, it will never happen. It will be always a star in the long nights.
And you probably wanted to see the whole podcast episodes where we share a lot of strategies. So don't forget to click this video right now so you can see the whole episodes where we share a lot of strategy. Click the video right now and I will see you there. Are you a leader or an HR professional? So for you, this is a great channel. So don't forget to subscribe.